Hey there, CIS240. I know we have a bunch of other stuff here over the course of this session to cover, but I wanted to reach out here and remind everybody that it is time right now. As a matter of fact, it might be a little past time for some of you to start signing up for classes for summer and for fall. I am going to cover some of the things that you can take for us here in the CIS department. But the way it is now, I can just tell you, if you haven't already registered, it is going to be a little bit cutthroat for you to try and find your way into a class. The I don't know if everybody is coming out from the pandemic. I don't know if the lack of course offerings college wide is because last year it was after our first semester of COVID, and we're just replaying fall of 2020 for here in fall of 21. But there are not a ton of course availability for you guys to sign up for now that you have 240 under your belt. So I'm just going to hit this quick for you because I want you to go register right now if you haven't already done so for classes, because the longer you wait, the more probable it is that you are not going to find classes you wanted to have fill in fall. So now that you've taken 240, if you haven't already done so, you absolutely positively should take CIS 276 C++ programming. Looking through my roster here of all of you guys, it's like 50-50. I recognize many of your names from C++, and then I look at that other side of the roster and say, yeah, you all should be taking C++. Let me give you this warning now. Our fall classes are very, very nearly full. This announcement or something like it is going out to all of our other programming classes as well. And I expect that by the end of the week or even the middle of the week, our fall classes are going to be full. We do have a second 8-week Summer 2 CIS 276 course, which is filling up quickly. Absolutely positively take C++. It is, even more so than Java, the language from which other languages derive. So here we have enjoyed many of the libraries that you either, it really depends on what ecosystem, it really depends on what kind of industry you go into and what kind of programming languages you use. But like, if you do something, and we'll talk about this in just a minute, like iOS or Android development, I have always felt like C++ gives you a greater leg up there. If you do C#, C++ gives you a greater leg up there than Java does. That being said, Java gets you to JavaScript a little bit easier, which we'll talk about here right now. In fall, we offer a JavaScript class. It is actually a web class. It's still a programming class. It's just that it fits with our web degree. It is Web 233 JavaScript programming. You are absolutely positively going to be better in your career if you know about JavaScript, because JavaScript will help you with other scripting languages. So that is something I absolutely suggest you take, and we only offer it in the fall. While we're talking about classes we only offer in the fall, there's a CIS 279 Visual C#. C# is the next more visual language after C++. So there are some more user-facing design ideas that you'll explore in that. That is CIS 279 Visual C#, and again, that is only offered in fall. Speaking of offered in fall, there's a CIS 180, which is Intro to Visual Basic Programming, also only available in the fall. So those are our classes that are coming up here in fall. What I will mention to you is, if you haven't done so, because everybody is at a different place in their program. So how many semesters you have until you graduate, everybody is a little bit different. In all of our fields, right? So if you're taking a CIS degree with us, whether or not that be in networking or in security or in programming. All of them include 4 credits at least of web in the fall, and only available in the fall. You can actually take 8 web credits in 16 weeks with Web 101 and Web 102. Web programming absolutely helps you out with and supercharges JavaScript. It absolutely helps you out here with Java because we can start putting Java applets into web pages. It helps you out with PHP, which is server-side programming stuff, and design nomenclature that you get in Web 101 will apply everywhere, even when you're working with iOS or Android apps. We do have an iOS programming, and I just missed. There it is, CIS280. If I called it CIS180 before, CIS180 is Visual Basic. 280 is iOS programming, and you guessed it, that one comes around in fall too. But between the 2 web classes, Web 101, Web 102, that's 8 credits that you can use towards your programming or towards your CIS electives. And it really goes a long way towards leveraging, any of these programming languages, because the web is very probably the first venue that you'll get to deploy any of these these programming languages, because that's the easiest way to get our content out to a user, is not with a cell phone. It is not with an app or a desktop application. It is with a website, and that invariably is what we have found to be true, because everybody's here at home during the pandemic. And how many web apps, or how many applications rather, have you installed to order food? None, right? How many web portals have you used to order food? 1 million of them. So the coming boom here for web programming work is coming, and the pandemic has ensured that if you take programming classes in web now, it pays off later on. Web 101 and 102 are available in the fall. And actually, Web 102 is only available in the fall. It turns out those are the courses we offer. The CIS276 in the fall is going to be full. So consider taking that in the summer, because absolutely positively you will need CIS276. Consider taking the Web 101, the Web 102. Consider taking Visual C#, because that is something that you will find you will have need for in the industries. And also do consider reaching out to any of us for help with what classes you should be registering for, help with what it is that you might be doing with your degree, help with identifying certifications that you may or may not be one more class away from getting. The Web Cert, I always say this to students, like, did you know you were a Web 111 away from getting a certificate? And everybody is always flabbergasted by that. So reach out to your instructors, talk to me, talk to Conley, talk to Conkle, talk to Stephanie. We have better insights as to how it is that you're going to be able to use your degree, how it is that you should be registering for classes, than online services does. Because I can tell you, I've already worked with one student, and I just know I'm going to work with at least 2 more who have only ever used online services to enroll in classes, who think that they're going to get into a summer class, who are going to find that they're going to be really disappointed here in the next couple of weeks when they thought they were supposed to be graduating in May, and it turns out they have to wait until December because the course they knew they needed, but they totally ignored, only comes back around once a year because that course is full. And that's a terrible thing to have to go through. For those of you who have never heard this story before, I actually managed to do that. I was supposed to graduate in 3 years from college. I'm not Doogie Howser or anything. It's just that that's the way the cookie crumbled. Because I always took summer courses because they were cheaper. So I was supposed to get out in 3 years, and a buddy of mine and I were were jockeying for one available position for an internship that was 2 credits. That was all we needed to graduate. And we both went in there for the interview, and that snake son of a bee got there 5 minutes early and took the job. So I am here to tell you 20 years later, with all the same anger that happened all that time ago, that getting made aware that your decisions led to not graduating at the time you thought really beeping burns. So reach out to an instructor, talk to us about it. We have seen this story 1,000 times, and we know how to get around the really yucky parts. So that's it, 240. Courses you should be taking from here. Go take 276 right now, because I know I'm going to tell a whole bunch of you that you can't register anymore. So go do that right now. Get registered irrespective of what it is that you take, because there are not a ton of classes out there to take in fall. So have at it, 240.